My next guest is Liz Fleming. And Liz is the efficiency coach. Essentially, she is a business mentor and accountant who knows a thing or two about creating efficiencies. Oh my God, she should come and work with me. She is obsessed with it in creating ways for businesses to operate in an optimal state. You know how there are never enough hours in the day? Well, there's always so much to do and you don't know where to start. Well, that's where Liz comes in, and she can show you how to maximize your time and discover who's best to do what in your business. Her promise is more profit, more time, and more fulfillment. Liz, welcome, and thank you so much for being here and agreeing to be part of this beautiful summit that's happening for the next 3 days.
Thanks, Rose. Great to be here, and hello to everybody, and thanks for the introduction. Yes, it's all true. I do love being efficient. So I've created a slideshow for us to see today, and I'm going to share my top 11 efficiency hacks with everybody.
Perfect. Thank you.
I just quickly, there's my emails. There we go. Cool. So today, for the next 45 minutes, I will take you through some ways to become super efficient. And when I am sharing these tips with you, I want you to think about using them in your business and your personal life. It is my belief that we can be efficient in some places and not others when we're assessing how efficient we are right now and how we would like to be efficient as well. So it all comes down to your values. It depends what's important to you. So it is also really important that you think about how you can become efficient in your business life and your personal life. And as we all know, as small business owners, they're just one and the same, really. So let's make a start. So let's start off with, what is efficiency? Now, of course, it's very subjective. It's different for everybody. As I say, we can be efficient in some areas that we're happy with, and we're happy to not be efficient in other areas, and that's a personal preference. But efficiency is the ability to avoid wasting materials, wasting energy, wasting efforts, wasting money, and of course, wasting time in doing something or in producing a desired result. So it's that avoidance of wasting. So trying to be the best we can be and the most efficient that we can be. So Rose has given me a great introduction, and yes, I am the efficiency coach, and started my business because, you know, there's been times in my corporate career that I was told that I was too efficient. And so now I've turned it into a business, and I absolutely love sharing my efficiency tips with everybody. So I do business mentoring for small businesses, I do efficiency coaching, and I also do grants coaching as well. So the whole gamut, helping small businesses to grow and expand their businesses the best possible way that suits them, and always thinking, how can we be the most efficient? So does your desk look like this? And there's no judgment in this. Sometimes my desk looks like this as well. We're not all perfect, but you know, if it does look like this, then this is a good indication that we need to put some effort in to work out where we can create more time, create less stress, and get over that overwhelm and overburden of just having too much on our plate. That's what I'm all about. So as I said, I'm going to share with you my top 11 efficiency hacks. I came up with 10, and then I was like, no, there's definitely one more that's got to be in there. And you may be thinking throughout this presentation from me that they're quite simple and they're good reminders, but the question is, do you put these into practice? And that's what I'm here today to help you with and share these with you. So the first one is my number one tip. So if anyone asks me what my number one tip for efficiency, it all comes down to knowing where you should be and what you're doing. So I know that we've got small businesses, we've got families, we've got kids, we've got other commitments. So it's really important to have one diary and one wall calendar, so that there's only one source of the truth. So this can be a digital diary, this can be a paper diary, whatever works for you. But so, you know, and why I say the wall calendar is so that the kids and husband and whoever can see what is going on for the day. And what we're trying to avoid here is everybody asking, what's next? Where am I supposed to be? And it all coming back to you as a central point as well. And it also allows and forces us to plan ahead. So for me, I have my one diary, all my calendars are synced online, and on a Sunday I'll sit down and work out what I'm going to do, what I've got on for the week, what else I need to put in there, when am I going to do my grocery shopping, when am I going to go for a walk, and all that kind of stuff. So this links into the scheduling, and if you know where that one source of truth is in terms of where everybody needs to be, it just streamlines the process. So that's number one. And, you know, we're all striving for a clean desk. And again, this can be various levels. Sometimes if I have a clean desk, it absolutely annoys the crap out of me because it means that I don't know where anything is. So having a little bit of a mess can sometimes work better for some people. So throughout this presentation, just think about what works for you, because there's going to be different things for different people. And also, as I said at the start, you are going to place value on different aspects of your life in terms of where your efficiencies and where your efforts should go. Hack number 2. Now, this is one that can be applied across the house, the business, everything. So labeling everything and making sure it has a home base. What do I mean by that? Everything has a place. So I use the example of the scissors in the top drawer. So the scissors live in the top drawer. When you use them, be disciplined enough to put them back, and you always know that the scissors should be in the top drawer. This saves time looking for it. This saves time telling everybody where they are because they just know. And buying yourself a label maker. So last week I went to IKEA. I've bought a whole lot of storage containers. I've got my label maker out. And this weekend I'm going to tackle my laundry cupboard and just put some order back into it because it's got a bit messy over COVID time. So labeling everything, knowing what's in there as well. So putting them into the boxes, but also then labeling it with what's actually in there so that when you need that stuff, you can easily find it. We're being efficient and not wasting time looking for stuff. And we're knowing where it is and knowing when we need to run out of things, and when we've run out of things and to go and buy stuff. So, computer paper is something that I stock up on because I've been caught out a couple of times when I've got them reams of paper across the house, and midnight I'm printing something out and I've run out of paper. So of course we can't run to the shops, whereas now I have a designated space for the computer paper and I know when I'm running low and I put it on the shopping list. Same within the pantry, same with when you're doing your groceries, just labeling everything. So I'm a bit of a baker, so all my baking ingredients are in containers with labels, and so they've got their space and I know where they are, easy access, and also when I'm running out of it as well. So sorry about that. So I'll just hopefully my emails aren't that exciting. I'll just go back to hack 1 for those people taking notes and watching the recording. The diary and the wall calendar for one source of truth. Hack 2, label everything. So go and buy yourself a label maker, and because you can use it absolutely everywhere. Label all your folders, label all your stapler, all of that kind of stuff. You might have a kid's stapler and a business stapler, and knowing where they should be at all times as well. You'll save a lot of time. Wouldn't we love to have a desk, a stationary cupboard like that? For some people, this might be too color coordinated, but that's what we're aspiring to be neat and tidy and just reducing that stress. So the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. A great quote by Covey, who's written a couple of good books around being efficient and effective. And it comes down to the planning. What are your priorities? What do we really need to be doing? Hack number 3. Now, we all have a to-do list, and sometimes we can have a to-do list across multiple lists, multiple notepads and all that kind of stuff. So again, creating one to-do list and having a bit of a system. So I've got a master to-do list, and then every day, either the night before or first thing in the morning, I'll look at that list and work out what I'm going to do for the day around my other client sessions, my other appointments, and focusing on, just 2 or 3 things each day. So again, reducing the overwhelm, knowing what we're going to focus on, and then actually doing the notion of crossing it off and updating it. So there is science and evidence to show that if we cross it off, we have that sense of accomplishment and it'll motivate us and inspire us to do the next thing on the list. One thing I do is write my to-do list, and then I'll highlight it once it's completed. So at the end of the day or the week, you've got a really colourful list and that sense of achievement of what you've achieved for the week as well. So that to-do list, again, whether that's on your notes in your phone, it's in a Google Drive document, or whether it's on a piece of paper, is totally up to you. But having a to-do list, referring back to it frequently, and this is where you can also prioritize as well. Being like, well, what do I really need to get done today? What has to be time critical for today? What can be done by the end of the week, monthly, and go from there. And also, how do you add things onto the list as well? But having a to-do list is really important. And also, it's a great tool to be able to, if you've got team members or family members that you can delegate to, then that's a good starting point to sort of think, well, do I really need to be doing this? And is there a process around being able to delegate this to someone else? So as I say, some people have a notebook with their to-do list, and they cross it off, and then they transfer it to the next page as an update of still what needs to be done. And, you know, we don't want to use that to-do list to create overwhelm and think, oh, we've got to do all of this today. It's like, no, I'm going to sit down and do something. What is on my list? What do I need to do? And allowing ourselves to focus. Now, wouldn't it be great if we all had a fridge that tidy, but it's empty? So, you know, who comes home from work and thinks, oh, what am I going to cook for dinner? Oh, I can't be bothered. My next hack is meal plan every week when ordering your groceries. So depending on how you do your groceries, a lot of us are doing them online now, sitting down on a Sunday, or sometimes on a Thursday for a Sunday delivery. We need to be a little bit, you know, planned about that. But writing your meal plan, then writing your shopping list, and also knowing what's in your pantry as well. So back to a previous hack, everything's labeled, you know what you've got, and obviously fresh fruit, veggies. But meal planning, then grocery shopping will be time saving, efficient, and will also save you money as well. So, you know, you're only buying what you need, making sure that you're not missing an ingredient, and also being creative and thinking, well, what am I going to, you know, how many nights am I out? Who's got sport? They won't be there. Who needs a meal prepared? What are you going to do for lunches? What's everyone having for breakfast? And also, you know, getting your family involved in that as well. It doesn't have to just be you, and working out what works best for you and your family and your business, but meal planning. So I live by myself, and it gets a bit tiring cooking for one every night. And luckily, our local butcher has ready meals that can be popped in the freezer. And they only take 3 minutes in the microwave. So every second week, that is my meal plan, especially if I know I'm going to have a busy week. So sometimes I've got back-to-back client sessions with only 15 minutes in between, but I know that I can put those meals in the microwave for 3 minutes and be ready to go and have a wholesome meal for lunch, and sometimes for dinner as well. So knowing what you have coming up, and linking this to your to-do list, but ordering the right groceries for what you're going to cook is absolutely key here as well, so that you're not coming home, rushing home, going, oh, everyone's hungry. And it'll also save you snacking and all that sort of stuff, and also save you on takeaways. But, you know, if you want to have takeaways on a Friday night, put that into the meal plan and you don't order groceries for that day. So we never have enough time. We always feel like time is running out. And so hack number 5 is being productive when we are working or when we're trying to achieve things. And this is one thing that I've really had to develop myself as a business owner. So obviously when we're working with someone else or working for corporate, there are deadlines set by other people. But working in a small business, sometimes there are no deadlines. And for me, I need deadlines to be able to work effectively and optimally. So, you know, creating some own deadlines, and I do that with my clients, where I say to them, I'm going to do this by a certain time, and that's setting my own deadline, creating that accountability with my client and making sure I do it. And then the next step is allocating the time to complete the task within that deadline that you have selected. So, you know, if there are no deadlines, or if someone external, you need to do something for them, or vice versa, ask them, when do you need this by? and get them to give you a date, because then you can allocate the time, you can schedule your time, put on your to-do list, and then also this is also about managing expectations. You know, they might have said, oh, doesn't matter, whenever you can get to it. You might be thinking, oh, that's 6 weeks away, and they're thinking next week. So it is really important, especially in a small business, when we're doing a million things, juggling a million things. And again, when we know something needs to be done, deadlines are a great way to facilitate that. Who has paper just stacked for miles? I know sometimes my desk looks a bit like that. So the next hack is tidying up before you start the next task. So that could be shutting down all the files on your computer and starting afresh, closing down all those tabs on your internet browser, or it might mean just cleaning the desk or cleaning the kitchen before you start the next meal. This can be taken in a lot of contexts, but it also frees up your mind. You're not thinking about the last task. It allows you to work on one task, focus on that task, get it done, and then move on to the next one. And remember, we're crossing it off on our to-do list as well. So all of these hacks are interrelated and interlinked, but it's important to, you know, do a couple of them together to make it really effective in what you're doing. And also remembering that at the end of the day, we are trying to save ourselves time. We are trying to be as efficient as possible and try and reduce that stress. But what I don't want you to do is get stressed in the moment of trying to be efficient. So at the same time, we can plan all we like and things will pop up, things will go wrong. And we just also need to learn to go with the flow as well. But this one is great. This could be also looking at emails. So, you know, allocating email time to clear out your inbox or to reply to them or put them onto your to-do list so that you know, right, they're dealt with, move on to the next thing, and allowing that focus. Who has a desk like this? You know, nowadays, everything is on the computer. Some businesses are paperless, some are not. Depends on your working and learning style. But you know, they say a clear desk is a clear mind, and it can allow us to focus and be more efficient. So quite often people will talk to me about being efficient and being effective. So being efficient is doing the right things, the things that we need to do. But if we're not being effective at the same time, actually I've said that wrong the right way. Efficiency is doing things right and properly. And effectiveness is doing the right things. So we can be busy doing the wrong things and not focusing on the important things and our priorities. So we basically need to be efficient and effective at the same time. So, you know, when we're planning how we're going to become more efficient, this is a really important key as well. Hack number 7. Now, this is really, really important if you've got staff in your business, you've got your family members helping you around the house. And what we're trying to reduce here is that overwhelm or redoing it. So hack number 7 is ensuring that everyone knows your expectation of a task done. Now, I'm going to use a really simple example that everyone will understand, and that's emptying the dishwasher. We know that nobody likes emptying the dishwasher. Yes, it makes our life easier, but what does task done mean? And I've heard of people where someone's emptied the bottom tray, left the top tray, and they're like, oh, that's not my job. So being clear on your instruction when you are delegating or allocating that task, and communicating your expectation of, I would like you to do this, and this is what it means that it's done. And then I also need you to tell me when it's done so I can check it. You can check it that it's done, but we don't want to be redoing it. So again, this is about managing expectations and also recognizing that people will do tasks in a slightly different way. And we need to understand that if they get the same outcome, but they've taken a slightly different path to get there, that's okay. So again, you know, we don't want to be delegating tasks and then worrying about it, whether they'll do it properly or whether they'll make a mess of it. Make sure that they understand what they're doing, that you've put the processes and support in place that they can do those tasks properly and can meet your expectations, and asking them, well, what is it that I've just asked you to do, and get them to repeat it back to you of what it is exactly that you're asking them to do. That's a really, really important one, which, you know, we're not mind readers, and I know sometimes we do expect people just to to know, or we think they know. And remember, we don't want to assume. So don't make assumptions. If they're not sure, ask, and encourage your staff or family members to ask you if they have any questions as well, because in the long run, that will be much better. And this is also for those people that think, oh, well, if I get someone else to do it, then they're going to take twice as long as I'll just do it myself. We have to let go of some things, and this is a good way, a stepping stone to get to that point as well, where we are, being clear on our instructions, asking them how they're going to do it, and asking them, do they understand what it is being asked of them as well. So we don't want to be looking like this. We don't want to have, clutter. And we don't want to be stressing out over becoming more efficient. One thing I do say to people, though, is you're not going to become more efficient and creating more spare time if we don't put some effort in. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's not just going to happen with a click of the fingers. We need to put some effort in. We need to plan, and this is what I help businesses with. It's an efficient way to go about it. What are your problems? What are your challenges? Where are you wasting time? Where you think you're spending too much time, late nights? How can we make some really good quick wins in the first instance to reduce some stress, create some time back in your life for you to enjoy things, but we also need to be able to analyze where it is that you're spending your time. So when it comes to implementation of these efficiency tips, and again, it will depend, some will resonate with others from different elements of your life, but just start small. So one tweak a week. So for example, if we're talking about delegation, we might delegate one task a week to every staff member, just to reduce your workload. And again, because there is a bit of a process, there is a bit of upfront work to get that, and also recognize that there are going to be things that go wrong. They won't do it as perfectly as you the first time. So being prepared for that, but start small, one tweak a week. That might be starting with meal planning. That might be starting with going and buying a planner, or creating a wall planner on the wall so everyone can see where everyone's at, what projects are coming up, what deadlines are coming up, what holidays are coming up, so everybody is in the know. Hack number 9, spending 10 minutes at night planning the next day so you start the day right. So this is for a couple of reasons. You can review what you've done that day and how that went. So going back to what did we think we were going to do for the day? What were those few things that we thought we were going to complete? Did we get them done? What else came up that we had that became more urgent, and really reviewing what happened, and then planning, okay, based on what happened today, what am I going to plan out for tomorrow? Is it something that didn't quite get finished? Am I waiting for a phone call from someone else? But it means that you can, one, forget about work for the day and go off and have some relaxing time, and then when you start work again the next day, you know where you're at, and you're like, right, I can get straight into it. And with this as well, I just want to add in here, don't check your emails first thing in the morning, because then you'll just start panicking. If you've done this the night before and you're like, right, these are the 3 things that I'm going to start with first thing in the morning, then you'll be much more productive as a whole, and making sure you get those priorities and that important stuff done before you start tackling new stuff that comes in. So again, working out what's your process, how are you going to manage this? How do you work with your emails? Do you have them popping up all the time? Do you just check them at 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock? Are you, we need to be responsive as small business owners, yes, but we also, don't want to be doing emails all day, because we've got other stuff to do as well. Do you have an assistant that can deal with the emails? Do you have a system that can allocate those emails to be dealt with other staff members? So just having a think about an analysis of, okay, what kind of emails are coming in? The other thing is, what information is on your website? If the same type of emails are coming in, can we give that information to our customers in some other way? So, this becomes really important, of reviewing the day and then spending that 10 minutes of reviewing the day and planning for the next day, so we know what we're up to. And I've talked about this the whole way through today's presentation of thinking about what can we delegate, what can we outsource to others. And again, as I said, there is a process in this. It's not just handing off stuff and going, hey, here you go. I've done it for this way forever, and now you can just pick it up and I'm expecting you to do it exactly the same way. So, you know, it does come down to training. It does come down to, do those people have the skills to do what you're asking them to do? Do they have the support? And how do you want to be able to manage that? So, you know, can they check in with you? Can they ask you questions? Are you just expecting them to figure it out themselves? But if, you know, we can't do it all, and, you know, it's tough because when we start businesses, that's what we end up doing. And then further down the track, when things are going well and we're expanding our businesses, it becomes really hard to delegate and go, well, we've done it forever, how can somebody take this over? So, you know, this also comes down to how you build your business right from the beginning, that work into your team and your planning and your workforce planning that you're not going to do everything forever. So at the start, working out, well, okay, I recognize that I need to do this now because it's just me, I don't have the revenue coming in, I'm building the business. But when I can afford or decide to bring someone else into the business, these are the things that are going to go first. That's a really good starting point. And not always delegating all the crap things that we, you know, don't like doing. Because remember, we've got to bring someone on that they've got to enjoy that job as well. So I always say, spread the load. You know, ask them what they like to do. What is their skill set? Why have you brought them into the business? And, you know, there's always going to be admin stuff that everyone's going to have to do. And there'll be also some things that as a business owner, you won't want to delegate. But you've really got to be critically analysing that of like, well, why is it that you think that? And do you really need to be doing it, or can someone else be doing that? So that is a bit of a process in itself, but a good one to do on a regular basis. And also thinking about, you know, are all the processes that we're doing needing to be done in our business? Because quite often we might have, you know, the business has changed. And when it comes to finance and reporting, that's always one thing where people either aren't doing any reports, but as we grow, we might need to do some more, or we do a different type of reporting depending on who is in the business. And, you know, it is very hard to delegate because it means that we're giving up some control. But to grow our business, you know, we need to be building teams. We need to be building teams that are supportive of our business venture, and part of our learning and growing is to develop those teams as well. And delegation is a big part of that. And the last hack that I want to share with you today, and there's many other efficiency hacks that I'm sure you are all thinking of as well, and I hope you're all thinking about what and how you can you know, become more efficient in your business, is scheduling and that self-care. You know, we've heard a lot about it and it sounds cliche, but it really, really is important. If you're not on top of your game or feeling good, then it is going to be really hard for you to keep grinding at your business. And this doesn't, you know, it could be daily meditation. It could be once a month massage. It could be simply making sure that you go for a walk in nature a couple of times a week. Whatever your downtime is, it might be, you know, relaxing with a glass of wine, reading a book, or having a bath. Doesn't have to cost money, but, you know, what is your self-care? How do you switch off? And how do you get revitalized to keep going in a busy business, busy family life? Because if we're efficient in everything else, but we're still overworked, that is not efficient at all. So I would like everybody to think about what is their number one self-care thing that they do. For me, it is a monthly massage. And I also do the salt float tanks. And also make sure that I do go for a daily walk just to free my mind, get away from the computer, stop thinking about work, to become more efficient. Wouldn't it be nice to live by the beach and have that all the time? But, you know, is it about reading a magazine and buying that magazine, or booking in that massage, or booking in that hair appointment, or whatever it might be, booking in that coffee with a friend, you know, buddying up with another business owner to say, righto, once a month, we're going to, you know, meet up and have a coffee and just chat. That can be your self-care. Energy and focus are the keys to success. So we do need efficiency and focus, are the keys to success. So we do need to be planned. We do need to allow us to have that focus, and then that will create a success. So remember that success means different things to different people, just like efficiency means different things to different people. So things that I do in my business may not work for you because it just might not be an important or a priority thing for you. And that's why it becomes very subjective. And that's why I enjoy strategizing about efficiencies with small business owners, because it's all different for different people. We all want more time though, and we all want less stress. How you're going to achieve it is going to be much different for everybody. Now I'm going to share with you traits of an efficient person. Now this is not to go, oh, I don't have any traits, but this is, efficiency can come in many different forms. And I just wanted to share with you some traits that if you do demonstrate some of these traits, then chances are you've probably already got some efficiencies on the way. And it's about creating more efficiencies to become more efficient and creating more time. So an organized person is efficient, diligent, and this is around being disciplined in what you're doing, how are you achieving it, but also being flexible, knowing that things don't always go to plan, and having some strategies in place to go, well, okay, if this does happen, how am I going to deal with it? Being open-minded. Now, this is very important when you have a team, because when you're trying to create efficiencies, you want to involve your team. What does efficiency mean to them, and how do they best bring out their efficiencies and how they operate as well? Because it might be different to yours. It will be different to yours. Let's be honest. We want to be optimistic. But we also want to be adaptable. And with this, we want to be realistic in our expectations. We don't want to, this is where it comes back to the tweak a week, starting small, creating those quick wins so that we're, achieving things and creating momentum. But we also need to be mindful of all the other things we're trying to do in our business and our lives, and that we are doing it in a way that allows us to still be productive, still run a business, and not feel overwhelmed. Knowing your strengths. So, if you've got team members, what do they like doing? What are they good at doing? And delegating accordingly. Now, when it comes to efficiency, there does need to be some structure. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to plan out every 5 minutes of your day, but if we can have a rough structure of how our day is going to go, if there's things that need to be done on a daily basis, when are we going to do them? Are we going to do them first thing in the morning? Are we going to do them the last thing at night? All those kind of things, but having some structure, and again, this is going to depend for everybody, is the key to becoming more efficient. Now, I've got a couple of resources that I can, that are available on my website actually, that I can share with you. My top 11 efficiency hacks, which I've gone through today. One thing I quite often do with clients at the start with working with them is nobody really knows how they spend their time unless we track it. And so for a week or 2 weeks, I get them just to roughly track how they are spending their time, whether that be checking emails, whether that be working on the floor, managing staff, dealing with customers, whatever it might be, spending time with family, cooking dinner, cleaning the house. And then they can have that as a starting point to say, well, actually, I thought I spent half an hour doing this task, but actually it takes me 3 hours. So maybe we can delegate or outsource those particular things. And when it comes to outsourcing, there are, again, some quick wins. If you don't like doing your books, maybe it's time to get a bookkeeper. Just like if you don't like cleaning, maybe it's time to get a cleaner in for a couple of hours a week, and then you're reducing that overwhelm, or you're ruminating on, oh, I've got a messy house, I'm never going to do it. Getting the lawns mowed. There are businesses out there and service providers that help with all those things. And what that is doing is freeing up your time to spend time on your business to grow your business. Or you could use that time to chill out and have some relaxing and creating some space for that self-care activities. And the third one there, what steps can we take to become more efficient? So looking at what can we delegate, what can we eliminate, what can we automate, and what can we systemize. Now, this won't happen overnight. I do encourage people to look at that from a business lens and a personal lens. And sometimes it can be really, really simple things. But again, sitting down, working out what things can be done and could be delegated, could be eliminated, could be automated. Again, some of it's going to cost money, some of it's going to take time, some of it is interdependent on other things in your business. But it's about having a starting list and then working through it, setting some goals, and going from there, all with the aim of becoming more efficient. And again, it comes back to, what does that actually mean? If I was more efficient, what would that mean for my life? Does that mean I have more time? Does it mean I have more money? Does that mean I have more staff? And what's important to you? So remember, as I've said throughout this presentation, do what works for you, as everyone is different. And the state of it being efficient is very, very subjective. And, you know, as I say, every client wants more time and more free mental space, headspace, but how we're going to get there, the processes we're going to implement are all different depending on your business and stage of your business as well, cash flow, all those types of things. And one thing I like to share with people is, it may be efficient to drive fast because we're going to get there, we're going to save that time, but is it safe? So if we're putting our lives at risk just to get there 2 minutes earlier, is it really worth it? Same as when we're evaluating where can we create some efficiencies. We might be able to do it by putting in a system, but it might cost thousands of dollars that we don't have. And so, you know, we need to weigh up the risk and the benefit of implementing that particular thing in your business to work out whether it is a priority and when it needs to be done. So again, just because there is an answer doesn't mean it's the right answer for your business. You need to evaluate that yourself, or with, you know, someone like myself. You know, this is what I do. We can go through and go, right, these are the challenges, this is what I want to work on, how do we get there, and how can we best do it by still growing our business, not, you know, using up all our cash flow, but making sure that we can be as efficient as possible. And the answer is not always. So think about the car driving. If we can drive fast and we can get there, but is the benefit or the risk of crashing really worth it? And absolutely not in some cases. So that's just something to think about as well. So you can be efficient but not effective. That's not optimal either. So we can be busy, and we hear of people being busy in their business, but they're not working on their business. They're not growing their business, not working on sales or getting new customers, or reselling or upselling to our current customers. And if you're focusing on the wrong things, you're definitely not effective or efficient at all either. Now, I'm just going to run through some common questions that come through when it comes to efficiencies. One that comes up quite often is, where do people waste the most time? And this is a good one. I think most people waste time when they're trying to work out what they need to do. So that's really what a lot of my efficiency hacks come around to, is knowing when you should be doing it and what you should be doing. So we're not wasting time looking for things, working out what to do, having too many things on our list and not doing any of it because we haven't allocated the time. So again, linking all those hacks together to go, righto, I want to be as efficient as possible for the majority of the time, leading to higher productivity. Another question that comes up is, where do business owners waste money? Now, from what I've seen working with my clients over the last couple of years, we all are running pretty lean businesses when it comes to spending money. And it's probably more around, what are they not spending money on? So I see way too many businesses that are wanting to grow and are not having any marketing budget. So they're not, you know, focusing on the right things to grow their sales. A lot of them don't have the right access to a business mentor or a business coach to work out strategy. They're relying on their accountant way too much to help with strategy, and that is not what an accountant does. They don't know your business. They don't want to know your business. They just want to look at your numbers after you've done it, and it's too late. So I always say to people, you need to be investing in your business in certain areas, and if you're not, then that's where you are wasting time and effort because you're either trying to do it yourself, you're not getting the right advice, or you're not getting the timely advice. As business owners, and we've seen that during the last couple of years, where we've had to make decisions and pivot on a daily basis. So we need to be clever about our strategy, knowing what our strategy, planning that strategy, and then implementing it as well, with the support and accountability beside you. What's my favorite efficiency tip? So I did say this at the start, having the one planner, the one diary is absolute gold. I've just synced all my calendars online, and then I still do have, my phone's with me all the time, so I can always check. But that is the number one thing, because I just know what's going on. I can look at that and know where I've got to be, and know what's going on. How do I stay efficient in my life and business? Probably my to-do list. So I just have one to-do list. It might have a whole lot of things on it, but at least each day I know what I need to do, linked in with my calendar, and that's how I stay efficient. And the other thing is, I've always thought to myself, as I'm doing a task, is there a better way to do it? And it might not be that I change the process right there and then, but I at least think about it and go, okay, well, for next time, or before I need to do this task again next time, I'm going to spend some time working out and improving that process to become efficient over the long term. Because if they're tasks that we're doing on a repetitive basis, if we put the effort in now to improve it, we will save lots of time in the future. Is efficient being the same as being organized? Not necessarily, but we do need to be organized to be efficient. So if you think back to my hacks where we're labeling things, people have got places, things have got the right place to be. That's being organized, and it will definitely help you be more efficient. You can't be efficient if you're messy, because nobody will know where anything is, and we need that systems and structure to become efficient. How do I know I'm doing the right things and being effective? This comes down to your values, your priorities, and what makes you, your business, and your family tick. What are important to you? So knowing those are really, really important. Then we can, because some people might not care that the washing doesn't get done for a week, and then other people, that's the first thing on their list, or having a clean house, or having systems in their business. So it's where you place your value, and what's important to you will vary. So, I've got a number of ways that I can help you in your business to become super efficient. I do strategy sessions, I do mentoring sessions, and it's a massive brainstorming session to start with. What are your challenges? Where do you think your inefficiencies are? Why, uncover why that is, and then work out some strategies to create those efficiencies for the long term and to create more time in your life. I also have my free Facebook group, the Efficient Business Community, where I share tips and tricks on a regular basis. So you can join that as well and be in a group with like-minded business owners who want to become more efficient. So there's my contact details. Thank you so much for having me. Feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, or connect with me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email. You can check out my website, or if you're in Australia, that's my phone number there as well. So just want to say huge thank you to Rose for putting this on. It's great for consultants like myself to come together to different audiences, and these online summits are great for people to learn, take away what resonates with them, and hopefully implement some strategies to become more efficient in their business and lives, because that's what I'm passionate about. So thank you very much.
Oh, Liz, my goodness, that was absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all those efficiencies. Some of them I'd not even thought of. And I thought I was an efficient person. So there you go.
There you go. Love that. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Everyone can learn, and sometimes it might just be one or two things that will make a massive difference that they haven't thought about. And that's what I'm all about, uncovering those little gems that can make a huge difference to people's lives, and try and reduce that stress and create more time for fun stuff.
Liz, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. I do so look forward to talking with you again soon, because it's about time you came back on the podcast.
Sure, I'd love that. Yep.
And share some more with us.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very, very soon.
Thanks, Rose. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.